Hello, I'm Archie Luxury. Welcome to the program Fuckaroonies. And I was having a talk to my good friend Gregory Kinder. I was talking to Greg and we were talking about cars, we were talking about watches and cameras. And we were having an interesting discussion about, about cars and how the German cars are no longer so reliable. How Volkswagen are a bunch of fuckers, a bunch of nasty fuckers to deal with. We spoke about Greg's Passat problems he had when he owned a pre-owned Passat, and how Volkswagen are such fuckers. Could you trust them to do the right thing if you bought a GTI, a Golf GTI from the fuckers? And we were just talking about things, and I said to Greg, I've had a BMW in my past. I'm not really lusting after precious metal like that, like a car. I mean, I love nice cars. Sure, I always will, but I'm not really. I said to Greg, you spend $100,000 in Australia, you get a nice Mercedes E-Class or a 5 Series BMW. I said, but the problem is, in 3 or 4 years' time, what's the fucking thing worth? You would have lost 40 to 50% of your money. In 5 years' time, you'd halve it. And I said to him, is that such a sensible move? And it's funny, I used to be such a car person. I mean, your car told the world who you were. I mean, if you're a young 20-something, a mid-20s, mid-20s, somebody with a 3 Series BMW, you're a professional young person, you are a mover and shaker. But, fuckers, those days are gone. The car doesn't really mean terribly much to me anymore. I mean, cars are cool. I love cars, but I mean, do you really need a fancy fucking German import that's, it's going to be very expensive? Is that really a wise way to spend your money? And I was talking to Greg about it, and Greg's had a few difficult things in his life. His mother passed away, God bless her soul, earlier this year, and Greg's he's selling a few pieces off, and he's buying a pink gold Reverso Duo Ultra Thin. And, I said to Greg, he's also going overseas. He wants to have some fun with his beautiful wife, Nancy. And I said, are you going to get the GTI? And he said, I'm actually more looking forward to the $15,000 to $20,000 Reverso than possibly buying a Golf GTI. And that's an interesting thing. He said, look, a car is just a tool. It's just something I need to get to work. And I haven't really thought about what I really want. But the wristwatch, it really means a lot more to me. And I was thinking, I said, something, Greg, you're so on the money. I mean, I had an Alfa Romeo, I had a BMW 3 Series, and I'm kind of past the car now. I mean, it's like a sexy woman. You look at a sexy Caucasian woman, you think, I do her, but you think, thank God I'm not with her, because she'd be difficult. You'd have to worship her, you'd have to fucking really try, you know what I'm saying? You'd have to, whereas when you're with an Asian woman, it's so different. You can, you don't have to have the same involvement. They'll always be good to you and give you service, and you know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with these prestige cars. It's like a Caucasian woman. Sure, I'll look at a beautiful one and say, what a beautiful thing that is there, but do I really want to go there? Do I really want to go there? And that's an interesting question, because often I don't really want to pay the price to go there. And I mean, I love luxury cars. They're so cool. but fuckers, but I don't really want to pay the price. And they're difficult and they're contemptuous. You know, it's just difficult fuckers. So, yeah, fuckers, that's kind of my opinion there. It's a hard thing. It's a very, very hard thing to explain, but I'd much rather put my money into watches than to cars. And I mean, in Australia, cars are terrible value. I mean, my good friend Descartes, he's got a Mercedes C300 4MATIC. That's a four-wheel drive, six-cylinder Mercedes. And I think it was under 50 grand. Whereas in Australia, you'd have to spend... We don't even have the 4MATIC, the four-wheel drive version. You can get a C300. It's a smidgen over 100 grand. You can get a C280 for about 90,000. And I mean, that's exactly it, you know. They're so expensive, cars here. They're double the price you'd find in America. And do you really want that hassle? You know, cars are never a great investment. You lose a lot of money on those fuckers. And I got to tell you, I'd much rather have my money for wristwatches. Lovely, beautiful, luxury wristwatches. I mean, that's a more sensible way to spend money. And I'm fortunate. I've got a bit of camera equipment I've bought recently, and that gives me a lot of pleasure. That gives me a lot of pleasure. So I think myself, fuckers, I mean, cars, you know, they used to be, as a young man, they were such an important thing. They would define who we are as menfolk. It told the world who we were, where we were going, what our ambitions are, and what we plan to do to achieve those goals. But now, yeah, I like a pretty European motor, but fuck, I'm not going to sell my soul for one. And that's what's changed. I'm Archie Luxury. Tell me what you fuckers think of that. Nice one, Archie. Good to see you've matured a bit in your 40s. Cars are a bad investment, fucker.